Hey everyone, Bevel is a new app that people are obsessing over on the internet. I used it for 4 months and I'm gonna review it and I'm gonna tell you everything from what it does, the pros, cons, pricing, and tell you if I recommend it or not. Stick around. Life is overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. I spent years building simple systems to make my life easier around productivity, health, finance, career, you name it. I'm Zach, a product manager, entrepreneur, and someone that obsesses over optimizing life with systems. People tell you to work harder, but you don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter. Let's simplify your life one system at a time. So Bevel's really cool. What Bevel does, and a couple other apps like this do it as well, such as Whoop and Athletic. What it does is it takes a lot of your data sources from your Apple Watch and your Apple Health, and it will compile it and use all of the data to tell you really unique things about yourself, such as your strain or how hard you're working, your recovery, your sleep, your current energy levels. It can track your nutrition, some really cool stuff. And I'm gonna go through all of these individually throughout this video, talk about my experience with it, tell you the pros and cons, and if I recommend it. Go Birds. So we'll start with strain. So strain's pretty cool. Basically tells you a specific number about how hard you've exerted yourself for the day. When you wake up in the morning, it should be at 0 unless you had weird nightmares and dreams. And as you work out, as you do errands, as you pick up your kids, as you walk around, as you go out your day, your strain number goes up. It also gives you a recommended range of strain that you're supposed to stay in based on your recovery and sleep. So if you slept awful, you recovered awful, you have no energy, it'll say keep your strain low and probably recommend some coaching, such as, hey, take a rest day or casually don't do too much today. And if you had great recovery and sleep, or you haven't worked out in the past couple of days, it'll increase that threshold and say, hey, you can push yourself really hard today. You're really well recovered. And this is supposed to help you, just all of it is supposed to help you not get sick as much, push when you need to push, rest when you need to rest. So I know we can all feel how we are, but sometimes that can be deceiving. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you didn't eat nutritious foods today. Like you started your day off with 8 Oreos and a sugary drink, right? Just because you had that doesn't mean you're not recovered. It just means you're not ready to push yourself either. So it's good to use some of these things and gauge the strain. With strain, you can go into your workouts and it'll tell you a lot of really interesting stuff about your workouts, your cardio load, how hard you worked. It'll tell you some other interesting things about your run. So it tracks running information and it can do a lot of really cool stuff. Recovery is pretty cool. Certain apps are starting to do this now, including the Apple Watch and again, Whoop and Athletic. They basically take your heart rate while you sleep and they measure something called heart rate variability. It's supposed to be one of the key indicators to basically tell you how well you've recovered. It's not the same as sleep, it's different. It's around how your body recovered. And you can look into this more. I may talk about it in a different video more. It's a cool metric that a lot of like peak athletes use. Am I a peak athlete? No, but it's still something cool to know if I'm fully recovered or not from my previous workout. The other main metric that they have is sleep. Obviously, we all know how important sleep is. 19% of people don't get enough sleep, and if you don't get enough sleep, 29% of your productivity will drop. There's another stat. There's a ton of stats you can look up, honestly. So sleep is super important. I do use a third-party app called Sleep App. Great name. And then that is a data source that connects into Bevel with my Apple Watch data. And it'll tell me on my phases of sleep. It'll tell me how long I slept, how long it took me to fall asleep, how my heart rate was while I was sleeping. It'll also tell me a number if I got good sleep or not, 0 out of 100. And again, so it's not just, hey, you were in bed 9 hours. It would say, hey, you were in bed 9 hours and you slept 6.5 hours. So how long you're asleep is much more important than how long you're in bed. So those are the 3 main metrics of Bevel, but there's some other cool stuff too. So one is stress and energy, 2 different levels. Stress is kind of like strain, but it does more than that. It'll take more into your heart rate consideration, less workouts, just how much stress you've had today. So if you're watching a big football game and you're not working out, but your heart rate's going, it's stress. So it'll kind of define your stress. I don't use it too much, but it's interesting. And the other one is energy. Energy is just interesting throughout the day. So basically, Think about your energy level, 0 to 100. If you're at 100, you have the most energy you have, and 0 is you're completely depleted. So think about when you wake up, you may start at 100, you may start at 70, depending on how you slept. And throughout the day, it'll slowly go down. If you take a nap, it'll go up. So it'll also tell you during sleep, you gained 54% energy. So it's kind of like a video game in terms of how much energy you have. And again, it helps you just understand how tired you really are, how much you can push yourself, or when you should really go to sleep. So a typical day would look, there's a graph and it kind of shows you, hey, you slept and you gained 54, and then, hey, you're starting to go down, 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 and then, hey, you took a little nap, that's great. And then down, 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 you had a workout, and then now it's 9:20 p.m. and you're at 17% energy, right? So it's a cool little thing to look at throughout the day. It's on my watch, actually, so I do look at it. It's just kind of interesting to see how much energy it thinks I have throughout the day, and I can compare it to how I actually feel. One of the coolest new things about Bevel that they've just introduced in the past month or so, I think, is nutrition. A lot of people have tracked nutrition via MyFitnessPal, or there's a ton of apps out there, right, that do the same thing. You can track your food, look up a banana, and it tells you the banana and the macros and the sugar, all that stuff. This does the same thing, but it does something a little bit different. So first of all, you can track anything you want with a variety of ways. You can do the normal searching. You can scan the barcode. You can use AI, so you can tell it, I had Cheerios and 2% milk. And then that will show you Cheerios and milk, and you can add it. And this is kind of cool because certain people like to track differently. A lot of people get really, really concerned with tracking calories. It gives them a lot of anxiety. They have to track everything. They have to weigh everything by gram. Everything has to be perfect. But you could also track things just generally, right? Generally, how healthy is Cheerios and milk? Generally, how bad are Oreos for you, right? And that leads to the next thing that I love about this, which is it actually takes all of the macros of food and the added sugars and everything, and it basically tells you a number. And that's what Bevel does so well. It takes all of these complex data and it just brings it up into a simple number, 0 through 100. So again, with Oreos, I think it was like a 22 out of 100 on the health scale, right? Eggs are 100. Cheerios, I forget, I'll put it up here, but 72 with milk. And it's really good just for information purposes, right? All of us look at all these big nutrition facts and how good is this fat for you or not good for you? It's high in calories, but peanut butter is good for you, but it's high in calories. Or is this a lot of sugar or not a lot of sugar? Is this added sugar? So by looking at the number, it simplifies just, is it healthy or not? You don't have to worry about calories or anything specific if you don't want to. You can, it has that. But I just love typing in stuff, to be honest, and seeing how healthy was that for me. And having that number is just a great guide to help me eat healthier and feel better. That's something that a lot of apps don't do that I wish they would. So again, so you can go as deep as you want into the macros and all the data, or you can just log things and say, was this healthy for me or not? And you'd be surprised it's healthy for you, right? A Chick-fil-A sandwich you don't think would be very healthy for you, but it could score something like, I'll put it here, I have not done it yet, so I don't know what it'll be. I would guess it would be like a 60 because it's high in protein. If you put French fries though, it'll probably be like a 12. I don't know, actually, so I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna put it in and I'll put it up here and we'll see how close that was. Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and the Chick-fil-A French fries. There's a few other cool features with Bevel. One is journaling, so you can basically type in what you did yesterday, like I took a nap, I worked out, I was dehydrated, I slept with my partner, and it'll kind of give you trends and try to help you see what helps your recovery and sleep and what hurts your recovery and sleep. I don't use it too much. I don't find it super accurate, but then again, I have nothing to compare it to. So it's still a cool feature. I think they could do more with it and kind of help you. So for instance, you could say, hey, it says if you sleep with your partner, you recovered 10% better. All right, well, sleep with your partner. You could also say the opposite. So it's kind of cool. I do log it most days for insights, but I think it could be a little bit better. A couple other things that are cool. Last that I'll talk about is the fitness. I don't use it too much. I use Fitbod. I don't use Bevel for this. It kind of has you type in all your exercises and your reps to track it. I use Fitbod, so I don't want to take the time to do it. Hopefully they have an export option or something to connect with Fitbod that you could just kind of take other third-party apps and put it in there. And if it tells you really great coaching or cool things, that's what I would love as well, but they don't do that very well. The other thing is biology, which is taking everything and just tracking your trends overall. So it'll track your weight, which it takes from other apps. It'll track HRV over time, heart rate over time, things like that. But the cool thing that it does is it tracks your VO2 max. VO2 max is a metric that a lot of people use for cardiovascular fitness. It'll also identify longevity, apparently. So higher VO2 max, the better. It's how your body utilizes oxygen when you're working out or just living life. Mine currently says poor, and I work out all the time, so I think I need to get better cardio fitness. But I want to try to improve it. It's really, really important, apparently, and it's kind of cool that this shows you VO2 max. Not a lot of apps do that. So pricing, it's not free. It's $50 a year, or it's $6 a month. $6 a month is $72 a year, so it's not that expensive, to be honest. Like, if it's 50 divided by 12, $4.25. Yeah. So $4.25 a month for all of this data on your body, how you are, how you recovered, how you slept, what your strain is, information, compiling from a bunch of data sources into one app. I don't think it's that expensive. I guess you could say a con is that it costs money, but a pro is that it's not that much money. Well, I don't think it's a big deal for the pricing compared to a lot of other apps. All right, conclusion. So I went over everything in the app. I went over kind of how I use it. Pros, it's just a one-stop shop for all of your health and nutrition needs, to be honest. You don't have to have MyFitnessPal for this, and this over this, and this over this, this over this. Your strain, recovery, your sleep, nutrition, your stress, your energy. If you want to use it for workouts, you can. Your journaling, what happened the day before, and how it affects everything else, like your recovery and sleep. That's definitely a pro. The UI is really, really nice. It's really, really clean. The widgets are great. You can have it on Apple Watch as well. I'll put a couple screenshots here for you just to see kind of what the widgets look like and what it looks like on the Apple Watch. So I could see my stress, or you could have any of those metrics, sleep, stress, whatever you want on your Apple Watch when you wake up in the morning. And if you're into just tracking your body and understanding what's happening with it, it's super, super cool. Highly recommend it. Some of the cons is it is only on iOS, so Android users don't get to use it. You should just switch to iOS anyway, it's better. I'm biased. You also need an Apple Watch. If you don't have a watch, it can't track the majority of the data that it needs to do its job. You know, it does help if you have some other things as well. I use Fitbod, which tracks workouts as well, or sleep apps. So it works the best when you have a variety of data sources. But if you have the Apple Watch or a Fitbod or something else, not Fitbod, the Apple Watch or a Fitbit, if you have any of those, you don't need anything else. It'll get you everywhere you need to go, but you kind of need to have one. So if you don't, I wouldn't recommend this. And if you do, highly recommend it. So again, my review of Bevel, this app is awesome. I use it every day. I love it. I've used other ones and I've completely switched off of those onto Bevel. It gives me just a holistic look at everything that I want to know about myself, nutrition, data from my workouts and sleep and recovery. And it's just really interesting data on how I'm feeling and my health. And I'm going to use it moving forward.